Galaxy S24 Plus screen is broken and I will do a screen replacement of this smartphone. I will also be installing a new back glass on this device. So I'm using a heat gun in order to hit the back glass of the device. This will be the entry point. I heated the back glass for 1 minute and 30 seconds in total. Make sure that you keep moving the heat gun in a circular motion and do not stay in one spot for more than 2 seconds. With this S24 Plus, using a suction cup is not going to work. So this is why I'm using my blade in order to create a small gap between the broken back glass and the frame of the device. You simply need to insert the blade slightly while keeping an upward pressure on the blade so that it does not scratch the frame of this device. Due to the amount of damage on this screen, I will be replacing everything, the screen and frame all together. I'm doing this because the screen panels have been punctured. This screen is not salvageable. You cannot just simply replace the glass and have a new screen. With one guitar pick at the bottom of the device, you need a second guitar pick in order to start moving from the left going up and to the right and going back to the bottom. After you've done all 4 sides of this Galaxy S24 Plus, you will be able to remove the back glass, the broken back glass of this device. So this is only if you want to minimize broken glass on your table or on your work area. The first option is to create a small gap between the back glass and the frame of the device, and then you do everything in order to pull with force, a lot of force, in order to remove the back glass from the frame of the device very quickly. Before we proceed, it is better to remove all the screws that are on top of the wireless coil and also the screws at the bottom of the device. After that, you simply need to disconnect one flex cable, which is for the wireless coil. After you disconnect that flex cable, you can simply start pulling and removing the wireless coil from the inside of the device. You don't have to remove the wireless coil at the same time as the loudspeaker, but I like to do it this way because both are kind of attached together with double-sided tape. At this point, the cable that you need to remove is the yellow cable. That's for the battery. The battery cable needs to be disconnected from the motherboard and put aside, and then you can start moving in the removal of all other flex cables that are connected to the motherboard. Then you move to the bottom of the device and disconnect all the flex cables that are connected to the charging module and the screen. Before we do anything with the battery, you need to remove 2 screws holding the 5G antenna on the left of the device. After that, you simply pull and remove the 5G antenna. So for the battery, with the pull tab, I think I have found the right way to remove it in the most efficient way. And also this was the fastest time that I removed a battery on a Samsung device with a pull tab. The first thing, you need to place your thumb at the bottom near the camera and pull, and then you move your thumb up above the battery and pull. If you do that right, you will have the same result. Less than 1 minute, the battery is going to start moving and you will have the battery out of the device. In order to access the charging module, you need to remove 3 screws. After you remove those 3 screws, you need to remove the SIM card tray. It is better to remove the SIM card tray before you remove the screws. So what I have left now is only the screws at the top of the device, those that are holding the speaker, the front speaker, and also the motherboard on the frame of this device. On the right, simply disconnect the flex cable for the 5G antenna and also the flex cable for the speaker, the front speaker. After you've done that, you simply need to pull the front speaker out, and this is the front speaker. Next, you will need to disconnect the cable for the front-facing camera. It is time to remove the motherboard of this S24 Plus. All the cameras are individually placed and they can be replaced individually. A strong pull and the other 5G antenna is out, you can remove it. Okay, let me show you how the water indicator on a S24 Plus react with water. If you have water inside your device, you should have this spot being bright red, meaning that water has entered the device. For the front-facing camera, you need to be careful and use a blade in order to cut the glue that is attached to the sides of the front-facing camera. And even after you've done that, you need to be careful while pulling, because if the glue is not cut, you will have a damaged front-facing camera. The amount of glue that Samsung use for this front-facing camera is too much, and most likely if you're not careful, you will have a damaged front-facing camera while trying to remove it. Currently, I'm reinstalling everything inside the new frame and the new screen. Everything should go in the reverse order, and finishing with the battery and connecting the battery cable at last. So like I said, this is the easiest way to have a new screen on your Galaxy S24 Plus, because the one that I had was a broken screen. The glass was broken. That's number one. And number two, the screen itself, the screen panels was punctured. So it was a screen that cannot be repaired or restored. After reinstalling everything, having all the flex cable in place, it is time to connect the battery cable and then turn the device on to test the new screen and make sure that everything is working. So the device is on and I am testing the cameras now to make sure that the cameras are in focus, everything is working and I do not have any issues. And also you need to test the touch response of the new screen, make sure that the new screen is working properly and you do not have any issues. On this step, you can spend like 2 to 5 minutes in order to have a good understanding of the screen that you got, and if everything is good, you move on to the next step. I haven't put all the screws. This is why the camera is shifting this fast, because there is no screws and it is not stable. Currently, I have put all the screws back in place and I did the reinstallation of the wireless coil and attach everything that I removed out of this device. Before I continue, I'm going to blow some air on the cameras to make sure that there is no dust that has settled on the camera modules. At this point, it is time for the back glass. I started applying pressure on the double-sided tape all around the back glass. This is going to make the double-sided tape very sticky to the back glass, and when it is ready, you need to remove the green film protecting the double-sided tape and then remove the blue plastic covering the camera lenses area. So for this back glass, I decided to try the heating method in order to reheat the double-sided tape so that it is a lot stickier than if it was cold. I heated the double-sided tape for 40 seconds using the highest setting on the heat gun as usual, and then I started the installation on the device. For the installation, make sure that you align the back glass with the frame of the device. Starting with the top is my preferred way to do it, and then you make sure that the back glass is fully seated inside the device, then start applying some small pressure on the back glass of the device to make sure that it is starting to stick to the frame. Once you're confident that the back glass is completely installed and in the right place, start applying more pressure in order for the back glass to stick firmly onto the back of the device. You can keep applying pressure on the back of the device on the area where the double-sided tape is for 3 to 5 minutes. So next, I'm going to use some repair clamps that are going to apply constant pressure to this Galaxy S24 Plus. This is going to help sealing the back of this device in the most optimal way. So this device is going to stay this way for 20 minutes at least. The constant pressure clamps are not mandatory, but it is the right way to seal the back of these devices.